entertainment. Good job, you're getting there. All right, so let's bring out our cast and our filmmakers. Let's start with our screenwriter. You might know her from her work on Justice League Action, Comics, and you name it. She writes a great story.
Bloodlines, the first
Margaret Scott.
Super excited, and here comes the cast.
That's all she got. This is the New York crowd? What the heck? Are you guys watching your phones or something? What? Our Batman Hush director. He is our co-director here. Say hi to Justin Copeland. He has directed 16 of these DCU movies. And that includes the next one coming up early next year, Superman Red Sun. Give a New York ComicCon welcome to Sam Liu. Producer and co-director. And Spurs fan. Did that go dead? Spurs fan. This man has been leading the DCU franchise since 2013. You know him from all these great films, starting all the way back with Justice League War and going forward. Please welcome executive producer James Tucker. You know her from the regular show and Fallout 4. She is our Dr. Poison today and tonight. Say hi to Courtney Taylor. And her evil counterpart, Dr. Cyber. You know her from The Blacklist and House of Cards, Mojan Marno. Any Orange is the New Black fans here? Yeah. All right. Well, you're also going to see her in right down at the Public starting on Tuesday for colored girls who have considered suicide. When the Rainbow is Enough. Our Anna Candy, Adrian Seymour. From the 100, any 100 fans? 100? Oh, they like her. Not only is she in the 100, she's going to star opposite Nick Cage in Jiu-Jitsu coming soon. Please, our Silver Swan herself, Vanessa Marie Avgeropoulos. Oh, this one. Jane the Virgin. And Rent. Luke Cage.
Come on now.
And coming up in Zombieland Double Tap. Interestingly starred as Artemis in our 2009 Wonder Woman, but she's back for her 6th time as Wonder Woman. Say hi to Rosario Dawson. Rosario likes my jersey. So, stick around. You guys will get some...
Yeah! Yo, show of hands real quick. Who cried? I cried. Who cried? All right, be honest. It's beautiful. Me too. We cried together, everybody. It was gorgeous.
This is a big panel. I like this. A lot of different faces up here. It's fun.
A lot of women up here.
Yeah! A lot of color.
Filmmakers, what are the essentials of making a great Wonder Woman movie? What went into this?
We just listened to James.
No. You know, this has been a long time coming. It took way too long for it to get to this movie, but the thing is, we needed it to be different than the guy movies. It needed to really say Wonder Woman. It needed to have compassion, it needed to have heart, it needed to be about stuff besides action, and deliver action. So it starts with the heart with Wonder Woman, and a story that compelled, that she is motivated because of something in her heart, because of something she emotionally feels. And so you start with that.
I think also Wonder Woman being part of the Trinity. I kind of feel like the public knows and understands, or the world is a lot more fleshed out. I think with Superman and Batman, their rogues gallery, the people that surround their life, I feel like most people know. And this is one thing that James and I remember when we talked about early on, is that Wonder Woman kind of doesn't have that, right? Like, I think a lot of, like, Wonder Woman is known for maybe Steve Trevor and Cheetah. And so I think one of the things that James wanted to do, and one of the things that we tried to execute was, obviously it starts with the script with Margaret, of pulling in like a lot more of the people that surround her mythology, but also sort of give her again like a little more heart, because I think just doing Justice League movies in the past, sometimes we get criticism of like Wonder Woman doesn't really have a heart, just kind of a little cold. She's she's an Amazon warrior, and so in this case I feel like constructing a story that that means something to her, something that's very personal to her, was a great direction to go into.
Oh, thanks. For me, you're right. I think that the key to Wonder Woman is that element of knowledgeable compassion.
Mm-hmm.
We gave her the line, Amazons do what's right no matter the cost, and I really wanted to explore the tension of Wonder Woman being a person that doesn't want to fight, but that has a cost to it. And the idea that she is a compassionate person, where fighting is always the last option, but it is an option, and there is a risk, that she's willing to take, and there are things that she's willing to go for. And I feel like it makes it that much stronger when she's willing to risk more to keep trying to reach out to people and keep trying to reach out to Vanessa.
And she'll whip your ass. So
Yeah.
she got you get down. But it's like bringing all those elements together and making it work in a way that that we like to do it. Lots of energy, lots of action, lots of fighting, cool graphics. It's a lot of work, but when you have like a really amazing cast and you listen to the lines, like, man, we have to do this justice. It makes it that much easier, and we have like one of the best casts ever. So
lots of villains too. Did you not touch on any that you wanted to, or did you run out of room, or and do you have a favorite?
Well, the live-action movie made Dr. Poison more someone we could use.
I knew he was going to say Dr. Poison. Yes!
I just wanted this to have some of the villains that comic book fans know about, but that no one else in entertainment seems to know about. So, Dr. Cyber, and even Veronica Cale was a big, we couldn't lead with that, it had to be a mystery, but I mean, she's one of the best Wonder Woman villains in the last 20 years, and so I thought it was really important to get her in there too, so.
Yeah, no, Wonder Woman actually has, it was funny because they were like, what villain do you want to use? I'm like, she actually has a really great rogues gallery, but they don't get as much press, and so we just tried to cram as many villains as we could and show them all off.
Yeah, no Angle Man or Blue Snowman, but real Wonder Woman fans know who those are.
I tried for Blue Snowman. I tried hard.
Yeah. You'll get plenty of him in the Harley show. I'm letting you know that right now. So,
Maybe this is a simplistic question, but is there a difference between choreographing a ground fight versus an air fight? Is one more fun than the other?
yes, there's a difference.
So much difference.
Yeah, it's a little easier, I think, to do one. Well, they're all hard. Anytime you have to choreograph a fight, it's very difficult. It's not just they're throwing punches. There are story elements that are involved. who's going to win this fight and how, and then how does that keep the story moving forward. And you don't want to put your audience to sleep like a lot of movies do. In the air, you can go in any direction, but you got to keep the camera in a way that keeps the story moving. So I find the ones in the air a little bit more difficult to do. They're it's fun, but I find those to be more difficult. I don't know how you feel.
Well, I mean, outside of the air and the ground fighting, I think in this case also, Wonder Woman. I remember this is one of the things when we were like watching it again once we built it, because Wonder Woman obviously cares about Vanessa and she's not trying to kill her or hurt her, and so that became a different kind of thing too. Is it reading like she's weak? But again, on the other hand too, is like she cares about this girl, and she doesn't want to hurt her. But we sort of still have to make it like an engaging fight. And so, I don't know, there's a lot of things to this, obviously it was huge. I mean, there's a lot of things, even watching it again, I'm wondering if it's too much, it's like we introduced a Medusa, and then now she's got the Giganta power, which, was kind of like a cool thing of you're mixing all of the things together with her, It's, I don't know, like it was a lot, anyways. Giant and normal, small scale person, flying fights, ground fights and arrow fights,
Yeah, it was really difficult. It was really, but it was fun.
Yeah. Now
that we're done, it's fun.
Yeah, once it's over, it's fun.
We've got a couple of villains on stage. Were there any particular philosophies on approaching your characters? Courtney, Mozan, and sort of even our Vanessa / Silver Swan.
Don't make Dr. Poison sound like Medusa. That was my big theory. Don't make Dr. Poison sound like Medusa. Also try and find a little bit of difference in what kind of pain I think that made them each, particular way. So trying to differentiate and not being able to talk about Medusa as the big secret. Don't tell.
Marie, what was it that most appealed to you about taking the Vanessa role?
The fact I've never done an animated feature in my life, and the first crack at the can I get to do is Wonder Woman Bloodlines with these amazing, talented people. Pinch me. Woo! I could cry. I'm so happy. I don't even remember the question because I'm still mind blown right now.
Did the Greek appeal to you in the whole thing?
That was my answer. Yep. Perfectly. And I really enjoyed the fact I could play young Vanessa, the adolescent version, the teenage gothic girl version, which I did that. I used to wear a dog collar on my neck in grade 9. Oh so I'm like, did they know that about me, or is this just a crazy coincidence?
We all did, didn't we? Didn't everyone wear a dog collar in grade 9? No?
So you and I have to have a chat.
Just us. We're going drinking later. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then it's a play the villain that found redemption in her heart through the kindness of Wonder Woman and these two strong, amazing characters. And I got to meet everybody today for the first time. We all just met each other, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience all around.
Woo! Adrian, you got to play the first African-American Etta Candy. And can you talk about what that was like and the diversity we have on stage here?
First of all, I'm very proud to be a part of this. This has, been an amazing time just in my life and career to work on a show like Orange that was led by women, to working on this platform led by women, and to also be in theater working with a lot of women and women of color of all different shapes and sizes. It's very empowering for me that we are now bringing up a new generation of men and women that can see that. So to be a part of that storytelling and a part of that history for me is a huge honor. With Rosario and just all these women, I'm speechless. And to portray an African American woman who is not just you know, this small, sexy thing, although I think Anna Candy was sexy, y'all. Y'all saw them women that was by her side, guys. But to show that she is smart and to show that she can help, you know, Wonder Woman and you know, not just be the stereotypes oftentimes that we play in television and film, just to be a part of that just goes to show that we can do more than we are stereotyped to be.
Rosario, there are a number of famous Wonder Woman portrayals. You took this role on about 6 years ago. How have you consciously made it your own? And have you taken equity now in this role?
You know, I have always loved Wonder Woman, and that's passed on from my grandmother, the amount of things and tchotchkes that we've gotten from my mom, because she's a 6 foot tall Amazon, as we called her, from the Bronx, boogie down. You know, literally her song growing up was, she's a brick house. Right? So my mom literally, she has like the Wonder Woman apron, like she's our Wonder Woman. And to be able to be a part of this history of bringing a new expression of her that fits this generation in the conversation is just really powerful to pass on to my daughter, and to have the opportunity to voice her. I mean, so much when you are stripped of the performance that you're used to giving as an actor, and it is just distilled down to your voice. You have to convey so much about her upbringing and her education and her emotional landscape and her power and her vulnerability. And so that's where I journeyed through her, was to see that I could perform this character and really embody her in my breath. And it was beautiful. You know, I literally would stand in the booth, as you know, and Wonder Woman pose and kind of get into the vibes and slash my imaginary sword so I could get the energy. And I really just tried to embody her as much as possible. And it's been an incredible gift, truly.
You all do on camera. What was it like being in the booth? A couple of you for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this was my first animated film. And it's just very different. You know, you have to generate a lot of the relationship, of the world, everything. You have to generate the whole thing on your own, because you don't have the other actors in the room with you like you would on camera. So you're alone, I mean, with the director and the producer, and in the booth with your script and just your lines. So it requires a lot of imagination and a lot of self-generating the relationship and the world of the film in a way that you don't have on camera.
I'll jump in. I love doing voiceovers. That's actually how I broke into this business professionally, because it is a way of being able to
That's awesome.
convey, as you all have pointed out, everything with just the voice and the breath. And it's exciting, it's scary, but it's also very rewarding when you finally see the full picture and the puzzle come together, and you can sit back and say, wow, that started with the voice.
Say I'm so impressed with the writing and the animation and the directing that tied all of our disparate performances together, because, you know, this was my first time getting a chance to watch this, and this is my first time getting to meet all of the people that I either in some bits heard or didn't, because oftentimes I wasn't playing off of what their performance was. So it's seamless. It's really powerful. The scenes are really poignant and moving, and brought me to tears, and it's incredible because it was just all pieced together. It's a beautiful puzzle that came together, and that the amount of trust in this process is so different than anything else. I think I normally argue a little bit more on set, like, no, I think my character, because you have it to kind of work out in a different kind of way. And in this one, you really have to trust the process and trust where it's going to be supplemented from what you can't see in the room, but what is going to be created later. It was really incredible. Like, I mean, I love our scenes together. It's so powerful. I'm sitting there.
So do I.
It's so good.
And I've never met you before, and I'm kind of fangirling on you a bit too. It's a good news day. And another interesting thing, just to touch on the trust factor, I completely agree. Having never met your scene partner and having to do very emotional scenes where your mother is dying in your hands, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. And the second amazing thing about voiceover work is you'll always fit into your costume. You don't have to worry about gaining weight. Bonus.
I have to say, just from the other, I come from voiceover as well, and when I have done on camera, I'm like, why do they keep touching me? Everyone wants to like fix your hair and your lipstick, or maybe just mine, but, and it's odd because someone's actually talking to you. It's not playing out in my head. So I'll be like, who said that? That was not me. And there's an actual person sitting there. So, but having done fair bit of voiceover in my life, to sit in this room with all of you guys and watch this for the first time and have it be this property, Wonder Woman, I was literally like, I got taken back to being like 8, 9 years old. It's like, this is so powerful. And you guys did such a great job with it. It literally just like teleported me. Like, I haven't had an experience like that. Most of the time in video games and stuff, you're just in a room, but seeing it on the big screen and seeing how great everything looked, and getting to sit next to Rosario while she was crying was just, it was also
good. Are you crying?
I did say Dr. Poison's voice.
I know, totally.
Are you crying?
I killed you.
Rosario, you were talking earlier in the day about the impact of comics and just beyond even film, and I wonder if you relate that to them as well?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my introduction into comics came from my uncle Gustavo Vasquez, who's an amazing comic book artist. And, you know, that came from his mom, my grandmother, who was a young girl when a lot of these characters like Wonder Woman were created, and meant so much to her. And she got those first comics, which she did not keep. You feel my pain. I can't say that to other people, but y'all understand. Yes. You know, it's to be all these years later, having worked with Frank Miller on Sin City because of my Uncle Gus and him telling me and giving me such an education, and my brother who's here, who's totally an encyclopedia when it comes to so much storytelling. It's not just in comics, and it's been invaluable to my career. It's the reason why I said yes to Sin City. It's the reason why when Neil Gaiman says, "Yo, will you post this?" I go, "Yes." Like, where, you know, Bloodlines is coming out with a Neil Gaiman Sandman short film tribute called Death, which is going to be amazing. But, you know, all these years later, you know, a friend of mine, Edgardo, created a new character called La Borinqueña.
Yeah! Wepa!
And DC allowed Wonder Woman to be a part of the Reconstruction book, which ended up raising a ton of funds for Puerto Rico.
Yeah!
And that's just so powerful to me, because we love this space and this world, and to see how it's grown through these cons is so powerful. But to know that we are such an untapped resource. You know, more and more films, more and more television, more and more video games are coming out here, and you know, but Joker, I know, so exciting. But at the same time, there's so much heart in this community. These stories and these iconic characters, new and old, are what bring people and bridge people across generations, across borders, across cultures, across language. And it's really powerful and really important. literally because of the sale of that comic, people got help, real help. And so these heroes and heroines are real to me, and I know they're real to all of you, and through them, we're able to do really powerful and beautiful things. So I thank you.
All right, I think we have time for just a few questions from you folks, but does anybody see microphones out there? Are there microphones out there? You got one?
I love
Good.
how you preface this that if they got good questions that you were going to give them.
Yes.
So basically, you also know we're judging you.
So,
Not
number
me,
one,
but someone
Michael,
else.
hold off for a second, don't ask a question. Number one, don't give a compliment, you're here, that's the compliment in itself. Number two, nobody here is giving you a kiss, okay? Everybody understand that? They love you, and that's all there is to it. Three, make it a good question, you might get a prize, and they're good prizes. Go.
How long have you not known each other, Gary? Honestly, come on. So my name is Michael, and my question is actually for the women of the panel, but if anyone else, the men want to jump in too, feel free to do so. So, what are the most important qualities about Wonder Woman that you learned from yourselves, and what do you hope that other people around the world learn from Wonder Woman as well?
I think one of the most interesting things about Wonder Woman, and one thing I really tried to show in this film, was that doing the right thing is really hard. And that there's a drama in that all its own, that you don't have to be necessarily a broken person. You have to be trying to heal yourself. You can be trying to do the right thing and just heal yourself along the way. And I think that this movie's great because it celebrates the courage of, standing by your convictions, even when it gets hard, even when it gets tough.
Yeah.
I learned how to spin around and not get dizzy.
Did you learn how to spin around and magically change your clothes?
Yeah.
I learned that I know I have days where I can be way too hard on myself. And this process and these characters have reminded me kindly to remember that every character and everybody can have their moment of redemption, and it's never too late. Yeah.
And I think it's, for me, just embracing the nuance and complexities of being a well-rounded human being who is strong and smart and also weak and vulnerable, angry, sad, just the full spectrum, and allowing that to be the thing that's the connective tissue between all of us, and not just being that lone soldier in the world, but that that there's so much power and vulnerability and connection and family and honesty. Yes, that honesty. I want that last one true so bad.
Okay, over here.
Hi, my name is Michelle. This question's for Rosario. With you playing Wonder Woman in so many different depictions of the film, what made this particular one special to you?
I think actually a lot that was brought up on stage today. I mean, I think there were different moments where we played with some of her naivete. Thank you. Naivete. With some aspects of the culture that she wasn't used to, or in that sense of the coldness that kind of could be thought of as coldness because of how removed she is. She's so much older and wiser, and there's a lot of things that just don't concern her, or that she doesn't necessarily have the most great bedside manner around. And I think that was really fun to play with and explore, and her strength. But this one gave a different aspect of her humanity and what really drove her, and her compassion. And I think just made her that much more of a well-rounded and relatable character. And it was really powerful, especially the themes around motherhood and sisterhood and daughters. It was, a very strong bond with my Isabels and my family, and that's definitely what got me crying at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Over here.
Hello, my name is Paulo. This is a question for the creators. So, growing up watching Justice League animated series, I know that Batman and Wonder Woman have always had like a closer relationship. I'm not gonna ask romantic. I mean, is there a chance that now that you've fleshed out her world a little more, will we see a Batman and Wonder Woman team up, similar to Brave and the Bold or the Tom King issues that she's been?
I just wanted to remind you that, remember, there's one thing to consider is that she's a 1,000-year-old princess, and he's a rich kid with issues.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay. If they say they want a Batman Wonder Woman movie, sign me up.
You know, there's a book called The Hecatia where she's stepping on his head.
Yeah.
I feel like I brought that up in a meeting or two.
Yeah.
Also, just a second parter, will we be seeing Wonder Girl?
But stay tuned.
I'm told we only have time for one more question. It's telling me. I can't help it. So it's over there. It better be a good one.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and my 17-year-old daughter just watched this movie, and she watched some beautiful, powerful, amazing women perform in a fantastic, really written movie. Who, as a 17-year-old, inspired you?
And the list is long, but I will today. I will honor, and I choose to honor Diane Carroll, who passed away today. As someone that, just being a woman and being an African American and being someone who had dreams of one day sitting here before you, I looked to her because she definitely set a standard and a high standard for women and then for women of color. So I honor Diane Carroll for that.
I always say my grandmother because she was my favorite person. And she used to say, I may speak with an accent, but I don't think with one. And I think she'd be really amazed by the movement that's happening right now in recognition of people's power, even if they're only just secretaries like she was. But in theme with all of this, I will give shout out to the original Wonder Woman, Latina Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. And because I've always been such a big Batman Joker fan, watching the old Go-Go Gadget Belt Batman spandex show, Eartha Kitt all day.
I think for me it was, it would definitely be my mom because she was someone who I had a difficult relationship. This is such a great movie because I was like, oh, everyone has a hard relationship with their mom. We're all good. But definitely my mom because she saw me through some pretty hard times when I was younger. And then Sigourney Weaver. Because she was like, and still is, like she was just so atypical in that she was really smart and really tall and like not. I kind of grew up with like these really traditionally like beautiful women on TV, and to see her in a movie kicking ass in like her underwear just was like. So I think it really inspired the possibilities for me as an actor.
I don't think I told you guys this, but it's funny they mentioned 17 because when I was 18, I came to New York City for the first time to go to college at NYU. And I remember that first Wednesday, I felt so alone, and I was just, I grew up in Michigan, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it, I can't do this, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I went to my local comic book shop. I went to the nearest comic book shop, and I looked at the shelf, and on the shelf was the Wonder Woman comic where she's leaping over a taxi. And I was like, that's the sign. I was like, that's the sign that you can do it if Wonder Woman can do it. And it's funny because that's one of the early issues in this story arc. And so in a weird way, writing this movie has been sort of my gift to my teenage self to try and pay back that story. And give it to a new generation. So I'm so glad that your daughter now has that same story in a new way.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, the four of you that asked questions, Please meet me over there when we're all done here. When we're done, Michael, calm down.
I got you!
In the meantime, quick couple of reminders. The Death and Return of Superman, available now, complete with that great steel figurine. Not a peep out of you people. Come on! Available in 2 hours on digital. October 22nd on 4K and Blu-ray. Please give a New York thank you to Sam Liu, Justin Copeland, David Scott, James Tucker, Courtney Taylor, Marie Abdimopoulos, Rosario Dawson, Arjan Morno, and John Morno. Sorry.
Adrian Moore.
Adrian C.